Hey there everyone, A is 80 here once again with another game of Starcraft 2. This will be a Protoss vs Zerg here on Metalopolis. Spawning first at the 12 o'clock is the blue Protoss. His name is LiquidHuK. Huck is a Canadian pro gamer whose real name is Chris Laranger. He is currently playing in Korea, so this I believe will be a game off of the Korean ladders. I did not find any reason to believe otherwise. Huck is of course on Team Liquid, and he is fresh off his victory at DreamHack Summer 2011 just last week. He is ranked 183rd on the Korean Grandmaster League ladders with a 54.6% win rate. His opponent today will be the red Zerg. His name is Check. He is a member of Prime. His real name is Lee Hyung-ju. He is a Korean pro gamer. He is a longtime veteran of Warcraft 3, a very successful player in that game, but he has made the transition into Starcraft 2, so we will be seeing more and more of him, as he has, I believe, promised to become a top gamer. You always love people, especially pro gamers, being so confident in their ability to make it to the top. Check is currently ranked 103rd in the Korean Grandmaster League with a 53.9% win rate. So we'll see these players duke it out today here on Metalopolis. They are spawning in close positions by air, which is why the Zerg Overlord has already made it into the main base of Huck. That will also tell Huck that his opponent is spawning here before this pro even needs to get over there, as that is of course the only way the Overlord could have made it over there that quickly. So now these players realize they are spawning in close positions by air. That might make them change their build orders, or it might just make them adapt it just a little bit. Here comes the first gateway for Huck right now, and these players are both setting up their bases here in the early game. Nothing too crazy happening. We're seeing Pool first right now from the Zerg player, so he will be going a pretty safe build against any early harassment. Of course, nothing is coming too soon for Huck. He is now starting that assimilator, so a very standard build right now for Huck. He is getting a pylon here just to spot this area, and also a very smart move, as doing this allows the Protoss to warp in units down here in the low ground, which cuts the rush distance from your base to your opponent's base by almost half, as instead of having to go all the way down this ramp and then around, they just start right here, which is not quite half, maybe call it a third, so it greatly reduces the distance your units have to go while keeping your pylon very safe inside your main base. So very smart play there by Huck, and we see a very fast expand happening from Check down here. Huck realizes it, steals a couple of probes, or a couple of minerals rather, from this patch, and then goes in to scout the main base. This hatchery getting underway right around the 3-minute mark for our Zerg player, so he is going to be going a fast expand. We'll see how Huck decides to respond to what he's already seen. He has two options, of course. He can either drop what he's doing and get an aggressive build online and just punish his opponent for going this fast expand, or he can respond to it by going kind of the opposite and taking one of these probes down here, saving up some resources, and getting a fast expand of his own. So we'll have to wait and see just how Huck decides to play this game out, as basically the ball is completely in his court. What he wants to do will dictate how this game plays out in the future. He is going to be chrono boosting out that Stalker with the Zealot already out and blocking the ramp, meaning this one Zergling will not get very much information at all. Going to take a couple of pot shots off, and Huck wisely keeps his Zealot here, manning his station and protecting that entryway from being run through by a Zergling. Going to be double chrono boosting out this Stalker, so he really wants that Stalker out to destroy the Zergling and deny any sort of scouting here at the front door. Getting a sentry online right behind that as well. Warp gate is just now getting started. It's not even a fourth of the way done, as that does take a while now to finish. He might be chrono boosting that a couple of times just to make it a little bit more bearable. But we do have this hatchery just now spawning, and that queen vomiting all over it. So very lovely, right on cue. And here we go. CheckPrime will be able to start that expansion. Looks like Huck is indeed choosing to go a fast expand of his own. Not too fast, but he's going to be responding to the expansion with his own natural base starting to be taken. That Nexus is just now getting underway. Also getting a pylon on the low ground. Here we have Check's main base, pretty normal right now, going to just get a couple of drones. So he's still drawing up pretty heavily right now. Let's take a look at that income tab. It looks like 4 harvesters down right now, and there comes a bunch of drones, so he's only 2 harvesters down. They are about even in terms of resources per minute, and there is this cute little team of 1 probe, 1 stalker, and 1 sentry. Just kind of, not 1 probe, 1 zealot. I don't know why I called him a probe. I apologize to that Zealot and its entire family for disrespecting him so. And here comes this stream of about a dozen Zerglings running in here. A couple of them will get hit by this Stalker, and this probe starting to mine already. This Nexus is almost complete. These Zerglings actually just taking up a post right here. It's waiting for speed to finish. That is moments away from finishing. 5 in-game seconds, which is really about 2 real-life seconds, and here it goes. Speed just now finishing. He is going to be starting that missile attacks level 1 as well for some roaches, and here come the Speedlings running all over the place right next to the Nexus at the Protoss player's natural. Going to start mining, however, as HuK is confident in his ability to hold off those Zerglings with the additional wave of units he just warped in. All of those were sentries, so now he has 6 sentries and still just the original 1 Stalker and 1 Zealot. A very sentry-heavy composition here in the early game, just so that they can have time to build up their energy so they have more force fields when the time comes. And here they go with those force fields, trapping in a bunch of Zerglings with that 1 Stalker. So the Stalker taking 1 for the team as it was completely trapped in between these force fields with just a bunch of Zerglings. Very effective though. They were able to take out those Zerglings, if at the cost of 1 Zealot in the process. Meanwhile, at the Zerg player's base, he is getting 1 Spine Crawler up just to make sure he is at least somewhat defended. This is just like the Overlord gathering place above the ramp between the natural and the main. He is about to have Lair Tech on the way. That is going to pop in a matter of moments, and there it goes. Lair Tech is now online. He is getting another wave of roaches, and here comes the Protoss counterattack as he's getting a wave of Zealots to join the sentry-heavy army. The probe leading the charge, playing taps on its lovely little trombone, probably going to be setting up a proxy pylon somewhere around here as soon as he finds a suitable place for it. Here comes a bunch of sentry. That is 9 sentries along with 6 Zealots. No more Stalker as it was sacrificed. Here's the proxy pylon online, and now it is the Zerg's turn to defend. How will Czech be able to respond to this pressure, as sentries, of course, are not the most offensive unit you'll ever see. Going to actually force field all over the place, trapping all of these roaches and the queen as well over here on this side of the natural expansion, able to just run straight by them. So excellent force fields. We might see reverse force fields, folks. We might see HuK force field the remaining units out, and there it goes. HuK is so sexy with those force fields, and now Zealots and sentries are free inside the main base of the Zerg, free to do whatever they want. More and more force fields going off as the sentries have enough energy to do that indefinitely. These drones are forced to fend for themselves, trying to attack the Zealots, but those Zealots are doing so much damage. All of these blood splatters are drones being taken out. 1 roach spawning inside the main will be immediately destroyed as well. It looks like getting focused down, only has 12 hit points. Are there still force fields? Yes, these 2 sentries are just on force field duty at the ramp, and this group of sentries, so much fun, tickling this Overlord to death. It's not even tickling at this point. That is 7 sentries all up in your face, just destroying you with their laser beams, and there are still force fields going off on the ramp. So HuK is being a huge awesome person. He is so really good, and now Burrow is online, however, so HuK will need to get some sort of detection to be able to root out those burrowed roaches. There are burrowed roaches outside his natural as well. So HuK is still loose inside the main base. These drones trying to come back, but will be met with the business end of some sentry laser beams. But it looks like there are only sentries. It's still 1 Zealot, actually. That Zealot will probably be taken out with the next wave of roach attacks. There is still a bunch of sentries loose inside the main base. How many workers has he lost? Actually, only 12 so far, so nothing too catastrophic. I mean, it's not something that he can't come back from. This last sentry fighting valiantly, but so many force fields used by all of those sentries. That was incredibly sexy right there by HuK. Reverse force fielding his opponent out of his own main base. You love to see that. HuK is always so much fun to watch. I don't know if you guys can tell, but nerd chills are just running up and down my spine at HuK being HuK and just being so very awesome. There's a reason they call him Huck Norris, folks. Of course, that is a joke off of Chuck Norris's name. Anyway, back to being an impartial, observer. We have these roaches still burrowed right here. There is a robo online. I believe I saw that robo being constructed by HuK. Show me a robo. There it is. Going to be chrono boosting out the observer and actually rallying perfectly to spot those roaches once they do. Once the observer does pop. Another wave of roaches, however, is unburrowed and is going to be knocking on the front door of the Protoss player. So this game going back and forth pretty well, but look at this mass of Stalkers. It is 13 Stalkers along with Zealots as well. That is half a dozen Zealots. Going to be charging in here. These roaches are flanking, or trying to flank, but they'll get pushed back as well. So it looks like the Zerg will have some serious work to do, as there is an observer on the field, so Burrow won't be quite as effective. There is an Immortal on the way as well. Another wave of Stalkers, so it's basically Stalkers galore right now for HuK. Also getting one Zealot just to keep his composition a little bit balanced. A bunch of Roaches, however. These burrow just to regenerate some health. Looks like it is a full 23 Roaches. That is just something over there, a wolf statue, taking up the 24th slot. And here comes the engagement. That mech statue getting destroyed, and now the Stalkers are actually getting free shots off. Going to be just taking pot shots at the Roaches who are too slow to be at the front of the pack, chasing them down, it looks like. So these Roaches really have to run out of there as they realize they are outmatched and I believe outnumbered by this Sentry, or not Sentries, by this Zealot, Stalker, and Immortal composition. So HuK with a very nice army right now to counteract what he's seen from his opponent. There is still just a bunch of Roaches. It actually is over 24 now. I believe it is up to 27. There we go. And how many Stalkers are there for HuK? It looks like an even 12 plus, or 8 plus 8. It's 16 Stalkers right now. He has no upgrades quite yet. I don't know if he even has a Forge on the field. Nope, he doesn't even have a Forge. So no upgrades quite yet for HuK. But he does have units galore right now, a bunch of Stalkers, also with now another wave of Sentries, getting that energy for Force Fields. Here come the Roaches with an Overlord spotting the high ground, managed to take out that original pylon place right there. Not a big loss at this point, however, and the Zerg player will have to attack in the near future. He is, building up quite the force of Roaches right here, over a full tab of them, but here comes the Protoss army with the Observer to make sure that no burrowing will help these Roaches, and the engagement will be happening in a matter of seconds. Actually, nope, the Roaches are going to be playing Ring Around the Rosie here in the middle of the map, and HuK deciding he doesn't want to play any children's games, will be going straight into the natural with his massive army of Stalkers, and just going straight up all over the face of this queen, destroying it completely. These drones just running for their lives. They have nowhere really to go, and the counterattack now happening for the Zerg player. So a base race scenario. Pylon field going to be destroyed by these Roaches. Poor Pylo, the pylon completely getting decimated. I'll just go back and forth between these battles, keeping an eye on both of them. Looks like the Stalkers will be coming back to defend. A couple of force fields trying to prevent the majority of these Roaches from being able to do damage. Probes actually also surrounding, or at least providing a roadblock. There still are Sentries over here just tickling everything. Actually now Zealots and Immortals coming into the main base as well. The Stalkers are about to arrive on the scene and mitigate the damage done. Looks like all of those probes did lose their lives. And here we go, Stalkers versus Roaches right here. More Stalkers warping in from the main base of HuK, and these Roaches will have their work cut out for them as the main base of the Zerg player is getting completely destroyed by Sentries, Immortals, and Zealots. This battle is much more interesting, but now we have Stalkers on the high ground. If these Stalkers had Blink, they could just blink up here and completely own these Roaches, but they are still trapped on the low ground, while these Stalkers from the high ground are enjoying the view as they're watching their comrades die, but getting shots off on the Roaches all the while, just reducing the number as much as possible. And here looks like this final wave of Stalkers will spell doom for these remaining Roaches. It is about even in terms of numbers between these Roaches and Stalkers, and that will force CheckPrime to GG as his base. Looking at the remnants, this is completely disastrous for Check right here. He has no hatchery. He has just a bunch of drones trying to surround an Immortal, it looks like. So he was in some serious trouble. He did lose everything at his main base while he was trying to counterattack, but HuK was able to hold that off and eventually just whittle down the number of Roaches and keep warping in Stalkers, and eventually he did turn the tide of the battle. So well played by HuK, taking this game down pretty nicely and showing us why he is one of the most respected Protoss players in Korea at the moment. So well played. I hope you guys enjoyed that game, and I will see you guys next time.